You're watching a Newsmax election special. Countdown to the midterms you decide 2014. Here's Steve Malzberg in New York.
All right, and we welcome you back to New York, and we are just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. Some polls have closed, and we have some results in. As we told you, Mitch McConnell was the first one, and he regains, or retains, I should say, his seat in the Senate, and he is most likely to go on to become the majority leader if the Republicans do take the Senate. Nikki Haley won in South Carolina, the governor's race. John Kasich won in Ohio, the governor's race, and a pickup for the Republicans in West Virginia in the Senate, Shelley Moore Capito. We also have Tim Scott holding on in South Carolina to his seat, a Republican, African-American in the U.S. Senate. No surprise there either. John Fund and Rick Ungar and Hank Sheinkopf rejoin us. And gentlemen, I want you to listen to what Barack Obama had to say. I believe this was on PBS. He called into a Connecticut radio station to talk about the governor's race there. And this is where he made his remarks about kind of this all being the luck of the draw, which states are up for re-election, and they're likely to vote Republican anyway, so it's really no reflection on anything. Here it is.
There's no doubt that when you look at the Senate races, because of the fact that only a third of the Senate is up at any given time, it tends to be a little bit arbitrary which seats are really going to be contested, which aren't. So, for example, in this election cycle, this is probably the worst possible group of states for Democrats since Dwight Eisenhower. There are a lot of states that are being contested where they just tend to tilt Republican, and Democrats are competitive, but they tend to tilt that way.
All right, accurate analysis, Hank?
No. Yes, it is. I guess it is. We can't keep beating up the president all day long. Look, there's states that tilt anyway. What's going to happen here, frankly, is a lot of states that still have Democrats in them that shouldn't have are going to lose them, and some states that shouldn't have Republicans are going to have more Republicans. So that's what this is really about.
John has something before we go to Rick.
I have now the exit polls, which show a very close race in Virginia, have come out, and here's some fascinating numbers.
Ed Gillespie and Mark Warner.
And how Ed Gillespie is doing so well. White non-college graduates, the NASCAR vote. Yeah. Gillespie is getting almost 70% of the vote. People earning between 30 and 50,000, that's the lower middle class in Virginia. Gillespie is winning that group.
Wow.
That is astonishing. And then you go further, family income, he's losing those earning over 100,000 a year and winning the lower middle class. So clearly there is some cultural shift.
Yeah, how do you explain that, Rick?
That's, I can't explain that. That's surprising. Let me just quickly go back to the other thing. I really got to say, Obama actually is right in what he's saying there. If you look at the map and you see where the states are, where there are elections, he's actually right. They are all just bunches of red states. Now, if this happens in 2 years, it's going to be a lot harder to defend it if you're a Democrat because it's the flip. It's a lot more states where they should.
One other quick item.
One
other quick item on the exit poll. In Virginia, which is a state that Obama carried last time, he's carried it twice. Yeah. Should government do more to solve problems? 39%. Government is doing too many things better left to business and individuals, 57%. This is a significantly conservative, more conservative electorate than what we saw.
And absolutely. I mean, because the popular mindset was Virginia was going towards Democrats, and may have been lost forevermore. Now we're seeing it go the other way.
Two issues, though. It depends who turns out in an election. That determines outcome. But number two in that second part of that issue is the Reagan Democrats are chopping the Democrat name off their moniker. So they're not going to be Republicans that were Reagan Democrats. They've made that shift. And by the way, going from one party to another, the central point tends to be independent, and then they go to the other party, particularly from Democrat to Republican. I think what you're seeing is the end of the Reagan Democrats as we know them. They're full-fledged, and they're not going back.
I would actually, when you're talking about Virginia, I take Hake's point completely on the first point. I think we will find out if this does go to Gillespie. This was a turnout issue. To the second point, no. Virginia is going to remain a tricky state because you have the North becoming far more liberal. You have the South becoming far more conservative.
Very interesting. And as far south as we could go, on the East Coast, certainly Florida, that remains neck and neck. And I mean, I just can't see this being decided tonight.
Tonight, you probably won't see this decided for another month after the recounts and the challenges.
And what does that do as a Democrat, as a political strategist? What does that do to the electorate who voted, to the mindset of the people when it goes to the courts and it's not decided? Yeah.
Two things. It undermines confidence in the system, which is very bad. And the second thing it does is it makes people more angry.
Yeah, but it's great for selling fans.
Well, that would take us back right to the debate, the Fangate debate. John, anything that you have that you would want to point out as far as any of the exit polling that you find interesting, or any of the statistics you're going over?
If you believed the country was going in the right direction, you voted Democratic. The problem is only about a quarter of the country did.
Yeah, and that's why I believe, adding my 2 cents, I don't see how Obama and the Democrats escape taking credit, blame, or whatever for the results. Should they?
The party in power in the White House
always does, yeah.
Except in 2 instances in recent memory. One of them was with Bush too. One of them was Clinton.
Right. All right, gentlemen, thank you. We'll speak to you guys later. John Fund and Rick Ungar and Hank Sheinkopf. And we're going to send it down to Florida, our headquarters down there. Ed Berliner, J.D. Hayworth, Dick Morris, and more. Don't go away.
You've been watching Countdown to the Midterms, You Decide 2014, powered by the resources of Newsmax Networks. Now stay tuned for a Newsmax election special, The Midterms, You Decide 2014.